And finally, after Kent Tonight will be a brand new episode of Kent Film Club, so I thought we could end the programme talking about American films because of the election this week. We'll start with Home Alone 2 Lost in New York, which features America's new president, Donald Trump, in it. I've never actually watched it, but just tell me about his role in it.
Well, he has a very short role, and I actually saw it in Dover just before Christmas. And when I first watched it years ago, of course, he was nowhere near the White House. And surreal, because you've got Macaulay Culkin's character walking into the big hotel. Of course, it's all sort of Trump Towers, etc. And in fact, he asks him the way. And Donald Trump sort of, looks and sort of says, "You look familiar," and he does just that.
Oh, there you go. Here he is. Yeah.
And there we are. I remembered it correctly.
Oh, there you go.
And looking rather quizzically.
That was a very short cameo.
And Donald Trump has actually had Razzie nominations before for Worst Actor.
Wow. It's a very short amount of time to be Worst Actor for. OK, so what comes to mind when thinking about American Identity?
Do you know, it's funny you ask that, because Clint Eastwood, who is 94, has made what may well be his last film. It's called Juror Number 2. And it's almost like, I mean, when you consider that Clint Eastwood himself has always been a Republican supporter, but has made films very socially liberal. And it's called Juror Number 2, and it's a courtroom drama that plays on those issues of what happens when family and justice and truth all collide. And I think that Clint Eastwood is probably a really good barometer in that sense, of somebody who understands I mean, he's always been associated through the Dirty Harry films with the gun. And so, Republicans love him, but also I think a lot of more social liberal, even Democrats. I remember when he was embraced by Barbara Streisand when he won the Oscar for $1 Million Baby, really understand that he's a very serious filmmaker who tries to get at the heart of American identity. His films always seem to be set in a different state, in a different genre. So I kind of think that's probably a really good barometer in terms of what we dealt with in the news yesterday, which I think surprised a lot of people, that Trump would get his second term.
And I mean, in terms of any suggestions who are happy, for people who are happy with the outcome, and maybe a suggestion for film people who are maybe a little bit disappointed this week could watch as well.
Well, I think it's ironic that, of course, there's a film called The Apprentice out at the moment, which is based on the origin story of Donald Trump. And it might be like Fahrenheit, the Michael Moore film, Fahrenheit 9/11, which was an attempt to try and scupper George W. Bush's accession, to a second term. It kind of backfired, because you then had other, the entrenched supporters saying, no, we're not going to let this work our way. I mean, you've got sort of, you see it in biblical epics, the Passion of the Christ, those who feel that, you have the conservatives versus the liberals. You look at, and Jesus films are often a good way into that through, the Passion of the Christ versus the Last Temptation of Christ. So there are lots of genres where you see these issues come to the fore, and it's sort of, you really see very marked, differently sort of configured American identities. America's a very diverse place.
Yes,
and we certainly saw that yesterday in terms of the way the results were distributed through the different Midwestern states, for example.
Yes, and I'll refer back to when we mentioned Home Alone. So that is a Christmas film. Again, haven't watched it, so this is what I've been told. Is it too early to watch Christmas films?
Last night I saw Red One, which is a new Christmas film that came out the cinemas yesterday. Will it still be screening in cinemas by the middle or the end of December? It's not the best Christmas film, and I've seen more than a few in my time. So the answer that, well, I'd be a hypocrite if I said yes to your question. But we had Bad Santa in 2004, which came out at the very beginning of November, and I think it lasted about 2 weeks in the cinemas. Although that was an 18-rated adult Christmas film. But no, the season has well and truly begun.
It has indeed, and that's it for Kent Tonight this evening. We'll see you next time.